Hey everyone, it's Darren Oline coming to you from sunny Malibu, California. As you can see behind me, I am in between trips and hanging out in what I feel is really good for me in one of the most beautiful places on earth. Um, it's really great to come back to Malibu sometimes when I'm in another land. I'm really just connecting with these videos because I've been wanting to do this for a while, um, and do some video stuff of kind of what's happening, what I do, what's being developed, information about superfoods, nutrition, health, vitality, living your truth in your life. A lot of that, which is dear to me. And I'm also responding about Peter Heller's The Adventures of Superfood Man in Business Week, which I had no part of naming. Peter sprung that on. I didn't see the article before it came out any sooner than anyone else. So that was kind of a surprise. It's kind of a funny thing for me hearing how people describe me or my life based on, just who I am and what I'm passionate about and what I'm driven to do. And it was really fun. Peter came here and shadowed me for 4 days. He literally, I really respect this guy. He's an amazing writer, amazing humanitarian, um, and he's written some great books. One which is coming out soon, which isn't out, which I got the opportunity of reading. But yeah, he shadowed me for 4 days and ate everything I ate, did all the workouts, hung out with my crazy friends, um, held his breath for ridiculous amounts of time in our pool workout that Captain Laird came up with, and that we all just try to survive through. But the wonderful experience was I realized that it's a very vulnerable thing to share so much of your life with someone, especially someone that's going to be writing and then telling thousands of people on something like a business week. Which for me, it's just what I do in terms of what I do. So it's not really, I didn't really think about it. But then when the article kind of came out, I was like, wow, you could actually say just about anything. And we went through so much, and then at the end of the day, the articles are so short, and they have to play both sides of the fence, of course, which I like because it raises the questions, it raises the curiosity for people. He interviewed the guy from the FDA. He talked with Dr. Susan Talcott. Um, these are all wonderful things to engage in the conversation because, like Dr. Wheeler said in the article, in 1953, the British naval surgeon said, take if you take one lime, you prevent scurvy. And the further conclusion of that is saying that they decided that it was the vitamin C that was the most bioactive compound, and that could be true, and quite frankly, probably is true. However, we do not want to underestimate the amount of bioactive compounds that we A, don't have measures for, and B, we don't even know what to measure to actually receive information about the other active compounds. So it goes back to my point. My point of creating Shakeology and helping to create it, um, was let's get whole foods into a powder in the most efficient way possible so that as a whole food form, so that the nuts and the grains and the vitamins and the minerals are there in its complete form as nature intended. Because I always say that when you're subordinate to nature, um, that you're listening, observing, and seeing nature how it works and abiding by those principles, that is always the best way to go. So it's I'll get into further maybe on another blog about how a wonderful fruit from a tree gets into a powder, and that's really the art of dehydration and proper care. Um, I'll get into that later because it's a long tangent and I can go off on tangents. But um, the things that I want to stress is that um, Shakeology is the greatness of Shakeology and things like this and other products on the market. Certainly, or this for me when we're talking about whole food forms of things, or the 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 parts are greater when the synergy is created. So when you have a blend, when you have a synergistic blend of whole foods, they're greater than the sum of their parts. And it's like when I talked with my friend Dr. William Lee at the Angiogenesis Foundation like a week ago or so. Um, he's studying a lot of whole food synergies and anti-disease and uh, cancer markers, and it's literally his conclusion as well that a lot of these strong superfoods equal equal a lot greater than like a 1 plus 1 equals 2. They're in fact it's a 1 plus 1 sometimes equals 12, and that's really what we have here. So it's easy to pick apart a formula and say, well, it only has this amount in it, or it doesn't have enough bioactive compounds. Yes and no. Those are true. There's truth to that, and there's also the blend of them, the synergy of them, is the greatness of them. So I look at something like Shakeology as there's it's the analogy I gave Carl a long time ago, in that Shakeology is a symphony, and you have many different instruments, and those instruments are the foods and the superfoods, each one playing their own notes, each percussion and brass and string has their own plethora of notes and tones and melodies, that if we were to take just one and call it the truth, then we wouldn't have a symphony, right? So by blending all of this together in something like Shakeology, you have a symphony of bioactive, phytochemically rich foods, superfoods, with all of the cofactors that make it full, that make it complete. So when you're in a symphony and you're listening to that music, and even a song, any kind of song, when it's all blended in the vocals and everything's together, it then creates the impact. So it's exactly like that with Shakeology, in that it's the blend and it's the care of every single ingredient, um, to get into that bag, all the way down to the care of the earth and to the work with the farmers, which is a whole other talent and love of mine, because it has to work that way too, and it has to make the life-giving attributes for the farmer as well. So it is that makes things great, and it's the symphony, it's the relationship, it's the blending of those qualities of those ingredients that make it complete. So I hope that makes sense. It's really difficult to explain it in other ways, but